because we didn't collaborate in any sense on the artwork. It was all separated, so it was like, just go for it. You don't know who's before and who's after. No idea what their styles are. And even still, we ended up with, you know, certain qualities of certain pieces that really like echo others. And
did you say they echo others?
In certain senses. I mean, some of them are so out there, and page to page is completely different. But one of my pages that I did here, I did like a sunset in the background of this one. So there's a little sunset here, and then on the very next page, this just worked out. That kind of sunset with the mountainous landscape is like still there. And we didn't like collaborate on that, so that was kind of interesting. The whole thing panned out in a very weird way. And then the last thing that we added to the final story is just like a process and sketch section where we show how the book was made, where our thoughts were, you know, preliminary sketches and stuff like that. And then of course the last page is the thank you to supporters, because one of the perks of our funding campaign is that, you know, you get listed in the book if you support us. I'll pass that around if you want to thumb through it.
Can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
Why did you choose Indiegogo over Kickstarter?
Well, Kickstarter, at the time that we were doing this started a year ago when we were planning all this stuff. The rates on Kickstarter were a little higher than Indiegogo, and they didn't offer any kind of partial funding plan on Kickstarter at that time. I don't know if they do now. But Indiegogo, one person had mild experience with doing things on Indiegogo, and so she's like, I'll take over the campaign and I'll do it. And I was like,
good.
Great, okay, cool. That didn't pan out.
Surprising.
People got overwhelmed, and you know, things happen. These are 8 random artists that we brought together who are all illustrators who work freelance and stuff like that.
Overwhelmed how?
She had planned to go to multiple conventions and stuff for illustration, things like Spectrum Live and stuff, and wasn't able to like divvy her time up well because she was also getting offers for freelance illustration, and things just got crazy and she wasn't able to meet some deadlines and stuff. So it passed on to me, and that was interesting because I was also planning the art show and stuff. So I had like the direct hands-on experience doing this campaign, and my brother and I produced the video for it. I wrote all of the text for it. I created all of the imagery for it. So I basically did the whole thing kind of solo with the input of the group. And in some ways, having a large group like that made it difficult at times, more difficult than it probably would have been just to be like, we're doing this, that's the way it is. You know, because there's conflicting opinions. How much should we charge for perks? What should we give out for perks? What should our funding goal be? So our goal on this was actually very modest. We brought it way down to about $1,500 because that was, we thought that's achievable. There's 8 artists, like we can probably do this.
What did you get from me?
We got $1,800 by the end, and then 22 sales after the fact at $20 each. So we made a fair amount of money, and then every artist got 40 books to sell on their own.
Right.
We didn't have to pitch a dime of our own money. We just made sketches as rewards. We made prints, and then we did like a signed copy for the largest reward. So the interesting thing is, you know, we originally had plans for perks that were up to like $300, $500, things like that. And people had some real trepidation about going up there with the project. It was kind of this like humble in a sense. It's just a 48-page book. And you know, it was just a little art show. To us, it was very simple. Some people wanted to, we got quotes from many different printers on books, and some of them were up there in the like $10,000 range, $15,000, $20,000. And we got very worried about this stuff, and people were like, you know, I don't know if we can do that. I don't know if we can do that. So we really scaled this project back to something we felt was like, that's probably achievable. The crazy thing is, so we put the whole project together, and I'll go back to describe how we did that. We launched the thing, and in like 24 hours, we were more than half funded. And in 48 hours...
By strangers or by friends and family?
By networks, so in the sense of, yeah, fans and family, and then it started branching out to people we had no idea who these people are. They just found us through, you know, kind of the grapevine and through the marketing that we did of it.
What was the marketing that you did?
So I do the marketing for the gallery. So we have an Instagram that only currently has like 1,600 followers. Facebook has like 1,200 followers. These are not huge networks. A mailing list of 400 for the gallery. And then just the power of the ability for us to make promos and knowing where to give those out in like the art industry in this area and stuff. And yeah, God, I mean, we sold out of the top perks like immediately. The $100 ones were just gone, and it was like, we only did 3 of those, so I was like, oh my god, we probably should have done more. And so, you know, we actually sold out of like most of the perks like instantaneously.
What was your biggest perk in terms of success, in terms of number of people who actually chose that perk?
So one of the perks that we did was you can select to pre-order a book, and you get an original sketch by one of the artists of your choice, and they'll like sign the book for you. And those there were 8 artists, 3 each, so 24 of those, and those we just blew through like immediately.
And they
How
were
much was that?
$50.
$50, so the book retailed at $20, shipping we figured in, and then they're like about $20 to $25 sketches. So they're not like masterpieces or anything, they're very simple. And oh my god, yeah, it just blew up, it was crazy. I mean, I was just sending out the last of the shipments today for this, and it was just like all over the country, both coasts, north and south, east and west. There was like people from all over, and that just blew me away. I mean, obviously we have a little bit of pull as artists because, you know, people follow artists and stuff like that. So that was kind of unique in ours, but yeah, there was definitely people where I was like, does anyone know who this person is? And none of us did, so that was good to know. So what we did was we sold out all these perks, and then we went back and we were like, oh my god, like we should have made way more stuff in advance. And that was one of the great mistakes, was that I think we put too few perks up, because we were like, you know, we put just enough up to hit the goal, and like just hoping like, let's just hit the goal and be good with it, and not like each of us make 20 illustrations that we're going to sell, and then we actually sell like 4 or something. That would have sucked. But the reality is, like, you know, looking back on this, people were just crazy about these things. They love the idea that I can individually support some kind of creator whose work appeals to me in some way. And yeah, tons of people sent us messages that are like, you know, I'm just sucker for these art projects. Like any kind of art project like that, it's like, you know, you get something in return, your name gets printed in it, you're helping people who everyone knows is obviously not making a lot of money. So I would say that part of what made it successful was that we didn't just say, okay, here's the project, and just like lay it on the table and be like, give us money. It was like more of kind of storytelling in a sense, and as illustrators that worked really conveniently for us. You know, it wasn't, I did a little video, for example, and I didn't just go up there and say, okay, here's the idea, and will you give us money? It was more like, kind of, we wrote a script that was sort of flowery at points, and like, in that video we just watched, you know, where they say like in the first 30 seconds you really have to like hook them and really pitch something at your market that you know is going to catch them. So the first thing that we did was just a voiceover with artwork, where it just showed like many of the pieces that were already finished for the book, sketches and things like that, and then described the project in kind of a poetic sense of like what would happen if 8 very different artists were given the opportunity to create something that like they had never expected it to be, if they didn't collaborate, if this, that, you know. Just finding a way to like put your concept into words that are in a way conversational and are in a way almost like a movie trailer or something, you know. Like, that's actually a very good example, like a movie trailer. You see a lot of trailers where it's like instantly just not interested, like I just can just tell I don't like this. And others where it takes a while for it to build, and then you're like, wow, that's actually kind of cool. But the most effective are definitely those that like grab you immediately. So we knew that the artwork obviously is what is going to attract people to this project. So we did that, and then using some Photoshop magic and stuff, we made like a mock-up of what the book is going to look like. Then we shared some imagery of that so they knew what they were getting. We didn't go too into detail about, oh, what is the poundage of the paper and this and that, because our video was 2 minutes. We decided like stick to 2 minutes because, you know, we live in the era of just like ADD and, you know, device ADD where people just can't handle paying attention to anything. So it really is, it's crucial that that first 30 seconds and then that first minute and then the whole 2 minutes really engages them. So the way our video worked was like, it went from the voiceover to art, then it cut to me like yakking and being like, hi, my name is so-and-so, and I'd really like for you to sit down and listen about that. And we did that because we realized there's a human component to crowdfunding where you realize that like this isn't some faceless like corporation that's like printing these things and I have no idea who made this. It's like, it's very obvious that a human being like is doing this and out of passion. That thing in the video too I thought was a really good point about like you have to convey how much this like means to you, You have to let people know, like, I'm very serious about this, and like we want to create a product that will blow you away, that you can treasure, that will meet your expectations and exceed them. So it's kind of salesmanship in a sense, it's charisma in a sense, and it's also honesty. Like, also, you know, another thing in that video, God, that video has a lot of very good tips in there. Delivering, being honest about what you can deliver. You know, like, we didn't pitch anything crazy. Oh my God, we will make you a masterwork that would make Leonardo da Vinci just cry. It was like, no, you know, we'll do some sketches, we'll ship them to you with your book, we'll sign them, they'll be original works of art, you can get your name in the book. We kept it pretty simple and just honest with people, you know, like, these aren't going to be huge things, but you'll get some original art and stuff. And yeah, you know, our concern was like, maybe this isn't enough, maybe it's not going to grasp people, because you really do want to put something out there that's going to like make an impact and that people are going to remember, more than just, we'll send you a thank you email or something, or a t-shirt or whatever. You know, you got to put a little bit of your like personal passion into it. Sketches were like the least we could do. I mean, it was very simple to do that. So they just sold out so quickly. And the way that we arrived on all these ideas was through just doing research. I mean, we just agreed we'd have meetings. So like I said, okay, this was a year-long project. We'd have meetings probably every 3 months, and then every 2 months, and then every month as we were getting closer. And one of the first tasks was like, all right, everyone just go out and look at Kickstarter, Indiegogo, all of those funding platforms that are out there, and let's just share examples of ones that we think are like really successful. Like, man, that instantly grabbed me. And so we got maybe a dozen funding campaigns that we were really interested in, shared them with each other, discussed them, watched the videos, just saw how they were doing things, and critiqued some of them in a sense of like, well, I might care a little more if this was clearer, or if they had more imagery or something. And through that, we were able to kind of cobble together this plan. And oh man, the planning takes way longer than the actual doing. I mean, it was dizzying at points because it's 8 people who had different ideas. Like I was saying, you know, they're going back and forth with all these things. I think one thing that would have really helped us is to really designate someone as sort of a leader of this concept, who can like lead the brainstorming and really be like, okay, that sounds good, maybe we'll think about that. When it's just 8 individuals going at it, you know, it can get rough at times and unpredictable and very hard to like move forward. It probably took a little longer to get this together than it should have. So we kind of learned that halfway through, and so we would just dole out tasks. Like, you're doing that, I'm doing this, blah, 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 blah. So like I sat down and wrote the whole script for the video, sent it to everyone to look over, took their input, changed it a little, but not too much. And I think that's important, you know, is to really focus on people's strength. If there's a team doing this, let them do what they're good at. Like the logo for the book, for example, on there is a completely hand-rendered illustration, and on these, this is like an ink illustration that one of the artists did, which was just magnificent. We were like blown away that she created something so cool. And then we gave it to another guy who's really good in Photoshop, who kind of did it up for the cover of the book. And so we were really playing to everyone's strengths. You know, some people have, like one of the artists had a mailing list of like 600 people. So it's like, you know, let's take advantage of that and kind of leverage your supporters. And that guy just cleaned house. I mean, he sold all of his stuff, sold like so much of his original art at the opening. So that's really important, I think, is to identify what am I good at, what do I already know. I know a bit about like graphic design and stuff, so I was like, I'll do the postcards, I'll do the layout for the book. I ended up, like I said, falling into certain roles that I didn't expect, and that is why I'm really stressing like forward planning is so crucial. And you know, some of the things that we maybe even didn't plan enough were things like really going through the nitty-gritty of like, okay, we all have to make 6 sketches, we have to get Mylar sleeves to put them in, like, so everyone prepared for this. Some artists were really like caught off guard, and they're like, oh my god, shoot, I like really have to do this, don't I, because they sold. And you know, it was just a lack of like planning on their side and understanding deadlines and really taking that seriously, because I have fun